Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Christine from Retirement Side Hustle Club, and we have guest speaker Kim Tracey talking about simple bookkeeping today. She's got many years' experience doing that, and she basically does it for her own business, right, Kim?
Yeah,
And she's
yes.
gonna talk about simple tips we can use when we're having online income and expenses, and the best way to get our taxes all ready since we're coming up on tax season. So take it away,
Yes.
Kim.
Christine, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Um, Maybe. This is always the tough part. Okay. Can you see that, Christine?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So this is the Money Made Simple Getting Tax Ready Without Stress. And today we're just going to simplify tax prep and bookkeeping for online business owners. And, this is not about fearing doing your numbers or about getting it perfect or overwhelm. It's about clarity and confidence in knowing what your numbers really are. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim, and I've been self employed for 20 plus years, but I've been a bookkeeper for almost 30 years, which, because I'm dating myself. And, I
You
started
started
my
when you
own
were
business.
10.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. I started my own business from my kitchen table as a single mom, because I really needed something that I could do around my kids' schedule and something that, could bring me in some decent income. And fast forward to today, now I'm a nana, and, that flexibility in my schedule really matters more than ever now. And a big reason that I'm passionate about helping people over 40, really, is because my parents live with me now and they really didn't plan for retirement. And, watching people struggle financially at that age really made me take a hard look at my income and where I was at, especially being a self-employed business owner. No one is coming to hand me a retirement plan. And so if we don't create systems now that are going to give us clarity and help ourselves in the future, then it becomes very easy to fall behind with all of this stuff. And if you're making money online, especially, it can be very easy to feel overwhelmed by the bookkeeping and the taxes and your numbers in general, especially at year end. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. We're never really taught this kind of stuff. So the real problem and some of the biggest mistakes that I see. So some of the biggest online mistakes that I see from business owners, it isn't tax mistakes. It's really about tracking. They have a tracking problem. They don't know their numbers. And what usually happens is people make money, they get busy, they think I'll deal with this later or I'll deal with it at tax time. And then January comes or April comes and people go into a panic. Um, and then suddenly you're trying to remember what you did a year ago and what you earned and what you spent, what's deductible, what isn't. And everything just feels so much more stressful than it really needs to be. So the IRS doesn't expect perfection, but they do expect records. So clean records, make taxes so much easier and so much less stressful. And, you know, what we actually need to track are only a few things. Bookkeeping doesn't need to be complicated. There really are just the two main categories that you need to track consistently. And first, that's income, anything that's coming into your bank account. And that could be Stripe or PayPal or affiliate payouts, platform payments, anything coming in. Even if it's small, it still counts. And then second, your expenses. Business related purchases like software and subscriptions, education, tools, marketing supplies, that all counts as business deductions. And then where I see people getting stuck is a lot of times people will mix their personal and their business money together. They start guessing categories and they don't really know what actually counts as a business expense. But the good news is that you don't need to be a tax expert to figure this out. Your job is just to track these things clearly and consistently. And then it's your CPA's job to really apply the tax rules. Clear tracking of your income and expenses allows your CPA or your accountant to do their job effectively. And then why simple systems work. So consistency beats complexity every single time. And this is one of the biggest mindset shifts that I try to teach people. You don't need 5 systems. You don't need a complicated software that you're never going to use. All you need is one place where your income lives, one place where your expenses live, that your categories make sense, and that you can actually see what's happening in your business. So when you see your numbers, on a monthly basis instead of yearly, something, really powerful happens and you will be less stressed. You can make better decisions. You can stop guessing. And, bookkeeping isn't about loving spreadsheets. It's about confidence in your numbers and knowing what your business is actually doing. So clarity, what clarity gives you? When you can actually see your numbers, it's less stressful. Again, you make better decisions and you have more confidence in your business. So you're not behind. You might be new to this, but if you start with clarity and you track a little bit every week or every month, however you want to do it, it really does make a difference. And so when you come into like your year-end cleanup and working with your CPA, there's only a couple of things that your CPA actually needs from you. So the goal isn't perfection. It really is just clarity, right? So you're going to want your total income, your major expense categories, and notes on anything that you're unclear about. So I did a worksheet back in December, or I'm sorry, a workshop back in December. And in that workshop, there was an option to get my spreadsheet. So if you're using my spreadsheet, or even if you've made your own spreadsheet, or, you have a tracking system, your year-end cleanup usually is, hiding or getting rid of any unused categories and reviewing anything that you marked, ask my accountant, or anything that you were unsure of. And then making your profit and loss readable. When you do this, your CPA or your accountant doesn't have to dig. They don't have to guess. And you don't get charged for unnecessary cleanup time. So again, this isn't about replacing your accountant. It's about becoming a better business owner with them and Trust me when I tell you, accountants love organized clients. Um, Unfortunately, the bookkeeper is usually the one that gets stuck with the grunt work, and that makes it, I get to make it that nice, pretty package that I give to the accountant for a lot of my clients.
You get the shoe box of stuff, right?
Oh my gosh, if you only knew, I have had shoe boxes, I've had grocery store bags. I've actually, years ago, I had a guy that had a lawn irrigation system or business. He installed irrigation systems, and I could never seem to catch up with him because he was always out in the field working. And I can remember times like going to like wherever he was on a job to get paperwork, and he would have the doors open on his truck, and he would be going through the pockets in the doors, the console, the glove box, and I would end up going home with probably like a sprinkler parts, a box where he would just shove all of his receipts and bills and stuff in boxes or bags, whatever he had. It was crazy.
That's funny.
So the final takeaway today, like I want to leave you with this. You don't need to be caught up forever. You just need to be caught up enough to move forward. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need a system that you're going to start and follow. And starting late is better than not starting at all. So if bookkeeping has felt overwhelming or confusing or stressful, that doesn't mean that you're bad at it. It just means that no one has ever showed you a simple way to do it. So the goal, again, isn't to love bookkeeping. The goal is to feel confident instead of feeling stressed. So thank you, Christine, for letting me share this with everybody.
Okay, I have a link I'm going to put in the chat for her Money Made Simple. Is that a 3-day workshop module? Is that like a
Yes,
whole complete module with your
it
spreadsheet?
is. Yep.
Okay, I'm going
So,
to put that in the chat in case
yep.
anyone wants to visit that and participate. I took it last month and it was really, really good. And
Yeah.
she has a beautiful spreadsheet. I know earlier in the year I had a module, my own simple accounting that was stupid simple, but hers is prettier and was nicer than mine. So I took mine down. It's still there on draft mode, but let me put this in here. Um,
The spreadsheet flows really nicely. Like you plug your numbers in once a month and it fills in everything else for you. So it
yeah,
pushes your numbers forward into your quarterly profit and loss, pushes them forward into your year end, and it pushes them into your year end final P&L that you give to your accountant. And it has a full video library of short little bite-sized videos, like literally like 2 to 5 minutes, I would say, for each tab that explains it. There are lots of freebies in there. You get IRS cheat sheets. Um, what else do you get? And
there was
in
a
that
lot there I
module,
remember. Yeah.
yeah, you get it's an advanced spreadsheet. There's different tabs on it. There's a place to track your home expenses. There's a place to track loans. There's a place to stick ask my accountant questions, a place to track 1099s if you use anybody that you would pay as a subcontractor.
Mhm.
There's really quite a bit to the spreadsheet. And then you get the replays of the 3-day workshop as well, where I go through and I show you actually how to use the spreadsheet. So yeah.
Right. What I liked about your spreadsheet was that if you're an absolute beginner and you only have a few things, you could use it. And if you're a little bit more advanced, like you say, if you have contractors or different deductions or things you're using, depending what business you're doing, your
Right.
spreadsheet was good for that too. It covered a
Yes.
wide range of experience and needs. So that
Mhm.
was really good too.
Yeah. And
Um,
there's no need in spending money on software.
right.
Like a lot of us have only been, even if we've been in the space for a couple of few years, we're still relatively small in comparison to, you know what I mean? There's only
Right.
so many expenses you pay for being online. Um, So yeah,
Was yours an Excel or was it a Google spreadsheet?
it's a Google spreadsheet.
Okay.
So if you download it into Excel, it will not work. The formulas will not
Okay.
work.
I know I made mine in Excel because I've used Excel for years and it was
Yep,
stupid simple, but I
yep,
like Excel. I was always
yep,
used to it. And then when I went to Google Sheets, I'm like, oh, some things aren't the same. So it depends what
yeah,
you're used to. But
yeah.
yours, like I said, I was impressed that it could cover you if you're very small and don't have a lot, or if you grow, it could grow with you. And
Oh,
that
yeah,
was really good. So
yeah. No, and I'm used to Excel as well. But I figured not everybody has Microsoft Office
great.
or, on their computer, and Google's kind of universal. You can use Google
Mhm.
from anywhere. So that's why I did it in the Google spreadsheets. So
I have a couple questions for you.
sure.
Can you talk about the importance of having a separate bank account for business?
Yes, that is great. Great question. In fact, I'm doing a 30-day challenge in my community now, to 30 days to tax ready books. And I just did this one a couple of days ago, the importance of separating personal and business money. Um, you know, it, I would, and I say business account, but it doesn't have to be like a business account.
Mhm.
As somebody had said, oh, I tried to get a business account and they were charging me monthly fees or whatnot for it. So when I say business account, I mean just a separate bank account that only your business goes into. So your business income goes in there and any business expenses comes out of there. And my spreadsheet, there's a page on there, or there's a section on there also for owner's investment or owner's draw,
Mhm.
which a lot of people, if you're just starting out with a business, obviously where you're personally funding it, right?
Right.
But I would still suggest opening a separate bank account, even if it's just a regular personal bank account, and using it strictly for business. Um, it makes tracking so much easier. Everything in that account should be business related. I would start maybe fund the account with some money, and that's an investment. That's an owner's investment into your business.
Mhm.
And then, if you're making money with your business and you need to take money out, then that's a draw. And that's how you label it. So it's not an expense and it's not income. It's just owners in and out.
Right.
But I would do it that way rather than like never pay your rent out of your business account, like don't pay personal bills out of your business account. Um, it just makes, tracking so much cleaner. And if you're ever audited or anybody ever needs to look at your business, um, it's just clean. Everything is clean. There's no looking back a month from now and trying to guess like, okay, I went to Costco and I know I bought paper for the printer, but I think I bought deodorant and toothpaste, and like then you're trying to separate stuff, and if you ever did get audited and you put that all under business expenses and you can't produce a receipt for it, which I show you how to track your receipts and attach them to the spreadsheet as well.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, you can get dinged for that. And the IRS unfortunately doesn't care.
And it is allowed to buy business and personal at one transaction. You
Yes.
just got to separate them out and keep track of what you're doing. I've done that, and
Yes.
it's a pain to actually ring stuff up separate, but
Yeah.
you do what you got to do as long as you can
Right.
notate it somehow. So,
Yeah. So in that, if that was the case, which again, I don't recommend if you can get away from that, but
mhm.
um at that point I would circle on the receipt um what is business, right? I'd circle the
Mhm.
business on the receipt. I'd snap the picture of it. I'd upload it to Google Docs. I'd save the link to the spreadsheet, and I would only put that dollar amount in the spreadsheet as your expense. Don't put the total. You just put the business expense
Oh,
portion
so
of
you
it.
can do that with Google Docs. Okay, that makes it more interesting now. Attach your
You
receipts.
You didn't watch my whole workshop, did you, Christine?
I think I missed a day. Plus, like I said, I kind of do my own, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know.
no, I did not watch all of it.
Yeah,
Maybe two
so
out of 3 days I watched. So
with receipts, if you have receipts, I recommend going and creating I have a folder in Google Drive.
mhm.
And if it's an online receipt, then I just pop it into the folder.
It's
And
easy.
if it's
Yeah.
a physical receipt, I snap a picture of it with my phone and
Mhm.
send it to the Google Doc folder.
Oh
Then
wow.
if,
Okay.
and then if you go into Google Docs, you can click on the receipt and create a link. Then if you go back to the spreadsheet, and I use the date column because it's front and center.
Mhm.
If you right click on the spreadsheet, you can click attach with a link.
Oh
You put the
cool.
link in and it attaches it to that cell in the spreadsheet. So all you got to do is hover over the date and it pops up a picture of your receipt, which is
Oh neat.
perfect because then when you send your spreadsheet off to your CPA or your accountant at the end of the year, all of your receipts are attached. You can even attach your bank statement to the bottom of the spreadsheet.
Oh wow. All right, now I may start Google Sheets this year instead of my Excel sheet. Unless there's a way to do an Excel, which I haven't even thought about that yet. I just got, a box of receipts,
Yeah,
which if I can
yeah,
get rid of the paper, that would be great too. So,
yeah, yeah. Mary Ann, do you have a question?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is the place to ask it but just some of my thoughts with all this, the talk that we're going on. So I know there's things you can claim on taxes, like if you are using your internet service for online or maybe your cell phone or whatever, are those, would you just recommend you pay those bills out of that particular bank account? And then the other thing I was going to ask is, like, isn't it for taxes you can claim a portion if you're using a portion of your home, like say for um, an office space, can you like, how does that work? And does it work with other stuff like utilities or whatever? I think they go by square footage. And
mhm.
I don't know if you know those questions. And then my other question is, do you have to be an LLC or not? And then because some people are like, no, you just file 1099, and it makes it sound like it's mixed in with your personal taxes. Or do they have to be separate personal and business taxes? I know I got a lot of questions here. And then, so I'm hoping I'm making sense. And then the other thing is, some people get TurboTax and they do their own stuff, and there's something in TurboTax that there is a business TurboTax. Could we potentially do our own? So I guess that's a lot of questions, but whatever you can answer of that would be great.
Let's go back to what was the first question? Your like your cell phone and stuff, right?
Right.
So, um, that's what yesterday's training was on, actually. Yes. So your cell phone, so we call that like the gray area, right? So there are some expenses that kind of hit that gray area. And a cell phone is a big one, right? Because unless you have two cell phones, one that you strictly use for business and one that you use for personal, right? That's gray because you're using it for both. Now, do most people that have a business cell phone write off their entire cell phone? Yeah, they do. Um, but what I'm supposed to tell you is, um, and again, a
Well,
lot of times I'll
thinking,
say,
I'm
ask,
thinking internet too, because I may
yeah,
not have an internet service
yep.
to do
And
online because I really don't watch television. But would that, or is it only like you can only claim a portion of it? You see what I'm saying?
yes. So is your internet wrapped up with, say, like a cable or a streaming device or a cell phone or a landline phone or anything, or is it strictly an internet bill?
It's strictly an internet bill, but like I have a router for Wi-Fi for my phone.
Right, right. So, um, uh, again, so the question that I always say is ask yourself this one question. If I didn't have my business, would I still have this bill?
Okay. All right.
But, but again, I'm going to tell you that I would say probably 99% of business owners write off their cell phone and their internet. And so again, a lot of times that just comes down to um, could come down to the accountant or the CPA you work with, like how by the book are they, how like nitty gritty. I mean, and there's all kinds. It's like, it's like politics. Some are far left and some are far right and some are kind of in the middle. It just depends.
Are you saying 100% people write them off usually?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm like, that I've been cheating myself all these years. I do like 50.
As long as it's just, but you see, if the IRS ever came in and said, okay, like, is a cell phone something that they're really going to ding you on? I don't know. It depends on who you get. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like, I mean,
Yeah, and if you said 50%, if I were someone auditing and you said, well, I claim 50% because 50% of the time I'm using my internet service, 50% of the time, we're using it for television, I go, well, that's fair. You know what I mean?
okay. But if you don't have television, I mean, I don't know. So yeah,
Probably
so
varies from
there's
person to
that,
person.
yeah.
Yeah.
There is a gray area there. And again, a cell phone, especially in today's day and age, probably not going to get dinged for something like that. But a lot of times I resort back to, ask this question and then whatever you're comfortable with is the other thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the only one that has to answer if the IRS comes knocking. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but, you know, would you have a cell phone if you didn't have a business? Yes, but you're on your phone probably how many hours out of the day for your business? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well,
it's that gray area thing. And
especially
then as far as
if,
home expenses, um, home office expense, that is done by the square footage. So it'd be the total square footage of your house, less, the square footage of your office area. Now, some people say, well, I count my dining room because I sit at my kitchen table and I work from my table, and that's my office. Now, if the IRS was ever to come in, well, that's good, Mike. I'm glad the IRS isn't knocking. If the IRS were ever to come in, they really want to see a designated office space. They want to see a desk or a table set up for your office. They don't want to see you clearing stuff on and off your kitchen table. But again, you know, CPAs, accountants, they all do it. It's like, where do you work from in your house? How much is the square footage? But, if you were to go look up the rules on the IRS for home office, they want to see a real office space, not your kitchen table.
right, I have a designated room actually, but
Perfect.
then my other thing with that is, because I was talking to my neighbor who's a CPA and I said something to him. He goes, he goes, you don't want to do that because if you sell your house, then you have to somehow that applies. And I'm like, how does that apply if you sell your house that you got deductions for office space you were using? Like that did not make sense to me.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I haven't either. That's what made me question it.
I've
Well,
heard of it not maybe a long time ago, but I think it's such a tiny little piece. I'm like, I
yeah,
mean, I'm going to be selling my house, next month, and I'm not going to reclaim something or give back. It's like,
right. And I mean, I sold my house 5.5 years ago, and I had a real like designated office off the back of my house. And I didn't do anything with
Okay.
that. So, yeah.
It just didn't sound right when he said that. I thought this doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
Yeah, I mean, because I was working from home as a nurse actually, and I wanted to do that. And he discouraged me in doing it. So I didn't for like 3 years because it was during COVID. And, I just thought that's probably tax money I could have had in my pocket because I did have a designated area. You know what I mean?
And
Uh,
is it something to
Definitely.
do with like depreciation? Because I know there's recapture on that sometimes.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not business savvy. I'm nurse savvy though. And then my other question was like, so like if you're doing the taxes and you do have a designated area with like a desk and, a room, then for some reason I thought, and this might have been a long time ago I heard this, but you can claim a portion of like, say, utilities or whatever. Is that true or no, that isn't really true?
Yes, that is true. So what happens is um you and like the spreadsheet has a page for this as well, like home office expenses, and it gives you an example at the top. So it gives you like a 2,000 square foot house, and you got to do the math or whatever, 200 square feet office space, it's 10% of your home. So you would write off 10% of all of those other bills. Any utility bill, heat, lights,
Water,
trash,
Your mortgage.
mortgage,
Mhm.
yep, rent or
taxes,
mortgage.
house taxes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, now I would say no on the tax portion, only because you're going to probably claim that
Oh, I
um,
see what you're saying. Yeah.
personally. And I know it's separated, right, in your head because it's business and personal. But because you do not need to be an LLC right now unless you're making really good money.
Yeah, no.
Because there's no tax benefit to becoming an LLC. The benefit of an LLC is really to protect your personal
Assets.
assets, as opposed to, thank you, my brain went blank. It's protecting your personal assets in case you ever got sued or something like that. Um, but there's no real tax benefit to being an LLC at this stage of the game. So, um, yeah, no, it
And
all
then,
flows back into your personal tax return anyways. So you're going to claim those property taxes probably on the personal end of things.
right,
So that's the other thing. You have to be real careful too. Like you can't, claim part of a water bill on your business and then claim the whole water bill on your personal side. Like
right,
you just
right. That
have to
makes
be careful.
yes. So my question is um like so can you do your own taxes with TurboTax and then do you have to have it separate of personal and business or you like people are saying combine them and it's a 1099?
Yep. So if you do them through TurboTax or any online software, right? When they ask you all those questions at the beginning, they'll ask you like, are you a W-2 employee? Do you have 1099 income? So you say yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then it literally walks you through everything. Now, if you got a 1099, great, you enter that information. If you didn't, but you still made income, you enter that as well. And then what it does is it walks you through creating a Schedule C, which is the schedule in the tax return for income and for your expenses for a business.
Oh, okay. All right. So they're like kind of together. Your personal and business are together.
Yes, because right now If you're not like an LLC or you're not incorporated, which you don't need to be, everything is just going under your social security number.
Okay.
At some point, if you were branching out and going to be like become an official business and you've got, say, multiple communities or you got the different products you're selling and you want like to have an umbrella company, then you would go and you would get an EIN number.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Christine, is there going to be a replay? I probably have to listen to it again.
Yes, we are recording this, so yes, you can listen again. Totally.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kim. You've
You're
been
welcome.
helpful and I appreciate you. So,
Welcome.
and thank you, Christine, for hosting it.
Oh, you're welcome. I was looking at my questions, Kim, I had for you, but I think we answered some of them. One of the ones before we started was a CPA necessary? Because I've done my own taxes way back when, and then when I had rental property, I started using a CPA. But I forgot about TurboTax and all those because I've never used any of those before. So that was interesting too. My
I
kids use
use,
them.
yeah, and I use TurboTax for my personal stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and my business stuff,
Mhm.
obviously. But I even have a few, smaller clients that are like DBAs or whatever. I
Mhm.
don't do corporate stuff because I don't want to get into all the tax laws, and I'm
Right.
not a CPA, but I do the Schedule Cs for some of my smaller, independent
Mhm.
clients or whatever. And I do it all through TurboTax.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Yep. They're pretty good. It walks you right through everything. So you know,
I
Yeah,
wonder if it'd be more cost effective than me using my CPA.
yeah,
yes.
I've been doing my TurboTax probably 3 years, 3 or 4 years now. And oh my gosh, I love the way they just walk you through it. It makes it so easy.
Yeah,
Wow,
it is pretty easy. Yep.
cool.
That's why I asked, do I have to get a separate TurboTaxware for business or just include it? But you say I can include it. So,
Yeah. Again, on that front page, when you first start, it's going to ask you if you've been doing it, right? You're logged back into your same account. It's going to ask you if anything has changed this year, right?
right.
And like, did you have a baby? Did you buy a house? Did you start a business? So that's what you're gonna go under that business part.
Yeah.
Um, or again, you have 1099 income or whatever. And yeah, that's where you
I
put it.
have one other question that you may or may not know. So
Okay.
I think, are you in DGC, Kim?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I thought you were. I thought I've seen your name. Um, so am I. So anyway, my question was, so I purchased DGC in September of 2024, but I haven't made any money. I haven't really done anything with it. And so it's all the way through 25. And so I'm not even thinking about claiming a business right now. I've just been holding on to all my receipts, like things, if I bought a book that is business related or whatever that I'm reading or using for education or classes or whatever, I've been throwing them in an envelope. And someone said, I thought it was on DGC in one of our sessions that we had up to 5 years. Do you know the time frame in there? Someone else said 3 years. So I was thinking I wouldn't claim this year and hopefully make some money this coming year. And then I could claim from September 2024, through 25 and 26.
I don't know if there's a specific time frame. Um, what I tell people is if there's like a rollover from one year to the next, I'm fine with that. I've done that one year to the next year. I've never gone into like a third year with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, and then the other thing that I tell people is it's okay if you haven't made any money. Like, do you have a job? Do you have a W-2? Do you make income somewhere else?
No, I lost my job because if I did, I would do it definitely. But like last year, I had zero income and, yeah. So that's
So
I was
are,
thinking.
are you married?
No.
Okay. I know I'm getting personal. Sorry, I'm only saying that because, um, any expenses that you have will reduce your taxable income for 2025.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're saying you could claim it and it'll even come off your personal income, whatever you
Yes.
have.
Yep. It
Okay.
reduces it reduces your net income,
Okay. I
your
see what.
taxable.
All right. I'll have to think about all that.
I mean, you could always go and like do a Google search and just ask that question. I don't know if you've done that yet and see what it tells you as far as like if there's a rollover period or how many years. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
interesting because I just always thought you match up your income and expense year. And that's why a lot of people try to spend things on December 31st to get the deduction for that year. I
Well,
myself
that's
personally have never rolled anything over. I always took it the same year, and if I had a loss, I had a loss, so be it. But
yep.
that's how I was taught everything. Just match up your years. So
Yeah. And again, you can do it either way, you know what I
mhm.
mean? Um, and I know a lot of people that especially if they start a business later in the year and they haven't really made any money, they will move those expenses to the next year, anticipating that they're going to have income
Mhm.
coming in, right? And they're going to use those expenses against it instead of
Interesting.
showing a loss that year.
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, if you have other income, then those expenses just reduce your taxable income, even if it's from like a job, a W-2 or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Or Social Security or whatever.
or whatever it is. Yep.
Yeah. 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 Okay. That
But
makes sense.
then, yeah, so I would say maybe Google and see if there's a limit on like if you can roll it over or see what it even says about it. I know people do it. Maybe it's, I don't know. Um, I could Google that. I could look into that more. Um, and
See more that if it's at the end of the year, like you say, to save it for the next year. But if you're
right.
saving something from February, you don't have many expenses and you're going to put them all the next year.
Mhm.
I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense, but it
Yeah.
could be done, maybe. I don't know. So
Yeah.
like I
No,
just always matched everything up.
I
So
think what I'll do is I'll look into it, see how much I've spent, and I might just claim it this year. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I want to do it, upright. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
trying, it's not like I'm trying to work the system or anything. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do and what I should do.
What's the best scenario for you as well? Next year, if you're making money, you will need those expenses to reduce your taxable income, right? Um, and, you know, the only other thing that I would say as well is, you can only file with a loss for so many years before the IRS says, hey, okay, really isn't a business. You're not making any money. This is more like a hobby, and maybe you shouldn't be claiming all these expenses, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
And
have,
what is that? Is that 5 years or something? Maybe that's the 5 year thing.
I think it's 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Kim, does that apply if you had W-2 income for the year?
Um, I don't know if it makes a difference if you had W-2 income or not, but I do know that like businesses after a few years, they want to see, some money being made. They don't want you to show a loss year after year after year after year. And I don't know with everybody that's doing online stuff now and all that, like I don't know if that's really been cracked down on, you know what I
Right.
mean? Because you could get into the online space and you could just keep buying stuff for years and not even not
I've
make a
never
dollar.
done that.
Not make it me either. Um, so you just have to be mindful of that.
Right.
And when you're small and just starting out doing stuff on TurboTax or whatever, it's a great way to save money and it's a great way to, really dig in and know your income and your expenses and know what's working and what isn't. But at the same time, it's nice to have somebody that you can ask questions like this too. You know what I mean? Like as far as having like an accountant or a CPA that you can ask these questions. Um, and I work with a lot of different accountants, so that's often how I get answers that I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Any more questions? Mike?
No, I'm just grateful that we had this talk, and it helps me, and I'm sure it'll help other people as well.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're here and asked your questions, and there will be a replay. It'll be posted maybe by tomorrow sometime. Figure out what we're doing here, how to do it.
I
And
mean, it'll be quick, Christine. You'll have it tonight.
oh, okay.
But I mean,
And then
no pressure.
And then too, if you want more info, I would recommend her workshop for 3 days. Gets more in the weeds with it, and it was really good workshop. So,
okay. And that's in your community, right, Kim?
yes.
It is.
I have a link. I'm going to have Marianne in my module in the classroom. I have guest speakers.
Yes.
And I'll have a page with Kim, and at the bottom is a link to her page.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like not in any hurry. It's not like I'm going to watch the replay tonight or tomorrow morning.
Oh, darn.
When you post it.
Yeah. All right. Are we good, Kim?
I think we are. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Again, this is Christine with Retirement Side Hustle Club, interviewing Kim Tracey from Profits Path Collective. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Is it Path to Profits or Profit
Path Collective? No, you got it. You're good.
And that's it for now. The replay will be posted. Thanks, everyone.